I'm back. Previously on CJ Unplugged. So, unfortunately for you as a viewer searching M2 MacBook Air videos on YouTube, you're being lied to, manipulated, and issues are being exaggerated well beyond what they need to be. What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to CJ Unplugged, where it's no cap in my facts and I just keep it real. You guys really showed up and gave a lot of love to my M2 MacBook Air 1 week review when I kept it 1,000 about this laptop. Now you don't see it here because I'm about to unbox the new version. The version that I previously used, which I've been using for the past 2 weeks, is the 8GB RAM base model with the 512GB hard drive. It's a little step of an upgrade from the base model, but nevertheless, it still had that bottleneck of 8GB of RAM. I used it for 2 weeks. I did some testing. That's what I'm gonna talk to you about while I unbox my personal M2 MacBook Air, which is the 16GB of RAM version. So, boom, fresh in from Apple. It actually arrived yesterday, but I withheld from opening it up in order to do it with you guys. So let's rip this bad boy. The M2 MacBook Air, you know, my last video was really all about like pulling away the drama and the exaggeration that's in the tech space right now around this here machine. Like everybody's doing unrealistic testing and unrealistic video titles around the M2 MacBook Air because it's the M2 MacBook Air. It's not a Pro. They're doing all these crazy, ridiculous testings that aren't even ideal for this machine and what it's intended for. A lot of you guys were happy to find a content creator just speak about this laptop from a normal user's perspective because that's who's going to be the majority of people that are gonna buy this. That's why I took that approach. And that's why everyone else in the tech space should too. Let's start here, you guys. In the design department, this is a new redesign, and this is a new hot color, Midnight. Now, a lot of people are concerned about fingerprints with the Midnight color. This is going to give you some fingerprint, you know, goodness, especially if your fingers have a lot of oils or you just lotioned them up. Actually, I just lotioned mine not too long ago, but as of right now, as you can see, not too bad, but you can see there are fingerprints. No big deal, is it really? And if it bothers you, keep a microfiber cloth around and wipe it down, or get a different color, or put a skin on it. There's a ton of resolutions for that. It's not even a big deal. So, from a design standpoint, this design is great. It's really nice. It's like a breath of fresh air in the MacBook Air lineup. I like the boxy design. I got used to it on my, what is this, M1 Max 14-inch MacBook Pro. I like it. This is like the same design, but like slimmed down a bit and it's lighter. So I believe a lot of people would appreciate a nice slim laptop. It's sleek, it looks good, it's gonna feel good while you use it, and it's gonna perform extremely well. In regards to that redesign, phenomenal. New keyboard, this latest keyboard, same keyboard as on the new 14-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pros, which I absolutely love. Nice key travel, just a good typing feel, and so forth. So gotta love the Touch ID, gotta love the nice black keys. Now, I mentioned the speakers in my previous video because there's no longer speaker grills. They're invisible, they're more upper in this area shooting out that way. It does create a different sound space from the previous design or the design that's on my 14-inch MacBook Pro, which has speaker grills, which is just sending that audio right up and obviously is a more, I guess, ideal listening experience. But I want to say this, by the speakers firing upward in here, as you heard me say in my previous video, they sound good. The sound stage is there. These things are actually really loud. I'm very surprised over these last 2 weeks of how loud these speakers are, and even found myself at times needing to turn them down. So that just goes to show, some people say, oh, the M1 MacBook Air speakers are better or sound better and so that's up for, you know, debate upon each individual user, 100,000%, but it doesn't take away from the speaker or sound experience you get on this M2 MacBook Air. I just want to clarify that. A lot of noise out there, you know what I mean? I just need to help you hear a little better. Now, they have brought the notch design on the display. But that accompanies a better webcam. No Face ID would be nice, but maybe in the future we'll get that from Apple. But a really nice webcam. And hold up, Siri, player, shut up. Okay, we could begin the process since you being all impatient. The notch is nothing to think about, nothing to worry about. If it bothers you, put a dark background, put your device in a dark mode. Hasta luego, goodbye notch. This is like where the upper bar is anyway, typically in Mac OS, so it means nothing. We need to do Wi-Fi codes. Hold on. I don't trust y'all. I don't care, man. Y'all, you know what I mean? You can trust me, but can I trust you? Because everybody here ain't for the, they ain't for the truth. I seen how the tech space been acting lately. Y'all been bugging. All right, boom. Oh, I got to do the migration assistant. So I'm eventually going to have to set this up, but I want to talk about the RAM for a second. This is a 16 gigabyte RAM version, and it's for a reason. As I told you guys, I know that I'm going to need or can use and can max 8 gigabytes of RAM, so I need 16. I wanted to do 24 on the M2. I'm not even gonna lie, on the MacBook Air. I was tempted, but once you start upgrading up there, you like knocking on that territory where it's just like a point of diminishing returns, in the sense that the better value would be an M1 Pro or M1 Max MacBook Pro type of thing, which I already have. So I didn't want to go too far left. I didn't want to get carried away. I wanted to keep the M2 MacBook Air where the M2 MacBook Air belongs. A lot of people have a problem doing that in this space. I did the 16 gigabytes of RAM, keeping it basic, but a little bit more than basic. And with the 8 gigabytes of RAM, what I can tell you is I took one of my workflows, like a high-end workflow. Mind you, let me put this in perspective. This M1 Max MacBook Pro that I have over here, the 14-inch, has 64 gigabytes of RAM. I took a workflow that is utilizing that M1 Max, all of that, I forget how many cores of GPU and all of that RAM, and I put the exact same project onto the M2 8 gigabyte version. And while it was able to run it, it was able to scrub it. If I would have let it fully rendered, it would have did the background rendering and it would have played even smoother. There were some drawbacks, as it should be. I mean, it's a base model 8 gig RAM'd M2 MacBook Air, which is not even intended for that. And I didn't do that to be like, let me max it. Oh, the M2 is terrible. No, I did that to just show and validate how good the M2 MacBook Air chip really is. I think people need to redefine their perspectives in using benchmarks, or even taking benchmarks to heart and not understanding what they're for. They're showing you what these devices can do, what they are capable of. And honestly, in the terms of the silicon Mac chips, these M2s, M1s, M1 Pros, Maxes, Ultras, and so forth, it's quite impressive. So be impressed. Don't let the doom and the gloom and the negative titles for the clicks and the views and the growth persuade you or make you make bad decisions. So many people told me that they canceled their orders from being misguided by those videos, and then after seeing my video, reordered. So I think those other channels and what they're doing, instead of just being so caught up in the exaggeration and the doom and gloom to get the clicks and the views, they could have, in the midst of that, like really served up some real. That's what I'm here for. So they can continue to be fake, and I'll continue to fill the gap. Hey, listen, if you feel the way about what I'm saying, you need to question yourself why you feel away, as opposed to getting mad at me. I gained appreciation in my M1 Max build with the 64 gigabytes of RAM, but I also gained even more appreciation for the M2 chip in the MacBook Air, and how this nice, sleek, slim, light, power packing device can be an option for me when I want to travel light and do some of my semi-pro work. You know what I mean? So I got 16 gigabytes because I can utilize 16 gigabytes. I didn't get 24 gigabytes, even though I could use the 24 gigabytes of RAM and utilize them, because I just felt it was a bit overkill for me, considering the fact that I have the beast already. Every machine doesn't have to be a beast. Every machine isn't intended to be the beast. The beast are the beast, and then the heirs are the heirs. As far as this display goes, it looks great. Watching content on here is absolutely, it's normal. It's as you would intend. Doing a business, running business, doing financial apps, word processing, doing your schoolwork, doing every typical thing that this laptop is ideal for is there and more. Because you can whip out iMovie, you can whip out Final Cut Pro, you can hop on Photoshop, you can hop in Lightroom, you can do maybe your programming for schooling. So many options, so many great things, especially the programs that are optimized for the M2 chip. They're gonna take advantage of it, and you're gonna see those gains, and you're gonna be wowed by this thin machine with no fan, with lack of thermals and so forth, outperform some machines that do have all of those other things, just due to the fact that this chip is focused on optimization and efficiency. Battery life, a big thing that I don't know if people covered it or not, because I don't really watch the cat reviews. It's great. It's a good thing to have on a machine like this, and that was another thing that, like, M2 went for and so forth. But battery is always subjective. As I say in all of my tech reviews, it depends on you as a user, and how you use your device is going to really determine the type of battery that you're able to get out of your device. Power intensive tasks are going to equal less battery. Simple everyday tasks, web browsing, word processing, emails, and things of that matter are going to get you closer to that advertised battery life that Apple has on their website. Perspective is extremely important in the world of technology and upgrades and updates and year over year and new machines and things like that. And that's one of the things I think needs to be focused on and stressed is perspective. And second, which is one of my favorite and most important things to always focus on in tech reviews, is user experience. A Geekbench means nothing to user experience. Thermal throttling means nothing on an M2 Air because it's not gonna happen. The user experience is what matters. Those speakers, this display, me doing what everybody or the majority will do on this machine, and how does it feel? How is it packaged and how well is it delivered? And that's what the M2 MacBook Air does extremely well. And that's why I wanted to come through, always cutting through the bullshit and letting you guys know that this right here is a great buy for those who understand what they're buying, how to buy it, and when to buy it. Hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications. If you don't turn on notifications, it is not the same. Like, it's not a subscribe if you don't turn on the bell. Don't play with me. I'm back.